Hi, guys. I want to get the morning session started. I guess I should begin by letting you know who I am. So I'm David Meyer from the University of Michigan, a cognitive scientist and sort of neuroscientist in the Department of Psychology there. I'm one of the co-organizers of the meeting, but my role's been really quite slight in contrast to that of Susan Marty, who was just talking to you a moment ago. You're going to be seeing Susan around throughout the whole conference. She is one of the primary officials with the Sackler Institute and the National Academy of Sciences, who's responsible for making this meeting happen. And she'll have many more announcements along the way to which you should pay very careful attention. Otherwise, you'll be totally confused about what's going on. Secondly, I have the privilege today of opening the conference, and it really is a great privilege. I got involved with this business more than 2 years ago, and at the time I was told we would have a meeting 2 years later involving everybody who's in the room on such a broad and important topic. I kind of laughed because I didn't think it was going to happen. It just didn't seem possible, but here we are. And the reason that it is possible in major, large part, in fact, it would have never happened without her, is Pam Hurst-Della Pietra, who's going to officially open the conference. Pam is the president, CEO, and many other functions for the Institute of Digital Media and Developing Minds that she created, and she's told me I shouldn't say anything about her because she wants to get on with it, but that's silly. Something's got to be said about her, so I'm going to simply say she's an amazing individual who knows how to make things happen in a visionary way that otherwise never would, and they're enormously important. So I'm extremely happy to be associated with all of this in a minor way, happy to have gotten to know Pam better. And I hope you will fully appreciate as the conference goes on exactly how much Pam has really done by making it happen. Thank you.
Welcome to the 2015 Digital Media and Developing Minds Conference, an Albert M. Sackler Colloquium of the National Academy of Sciences. I'm Pamela Hurst-Della Pietra, president of Children and Screens, the Institute of Digital Media and Child Development. I founded the Institute and organized and co-sponsored this conference to answer 3 deceptively simple questions. How I came to ask these questions is a tale to which many of you should be able to relate. Years ago, I began to notice the rapidly increasing extent to which children at all ages and stages were immersed in digital media. They were swimming in oceans of digital content of varying quality and participating in virtual activities that made the actual version pale in comparison. Even then, it was clear that a technological and cultural tsunami was coming ashore. The evidence was as close to home as my own living room, where my 10-year-old spent his days in front of a computer. This compelled me to learn as much as possible, as quickly as possible, about the world for which I needed to prepare my children. I started by distilling all of my concerns down to these 3 questions. How is digital media enhancing or impairing children's ability to live happy, healthy, and productive lives? How are years of electronically mediated interactions shaping children's physical, cognitive, psychosocial, emotional, and behavioral development? What should we do about it? I turned first to academic journals and local university professors for answers. The more studies and reports I read, and the more I talked with neuroscientists, pediatricians, psychologists, educators, and media producers, the more I appreciated the quality and variety of expertise that I encountered and the challenges faced by the people I met. With their help, I came to understand why my simple questions did not yield to simple, comprehensive, definitive answers. That realization threw me more deeply into the search for knowledge that continues through this day. I found many slivers of deep insight, pieces of a larger puzzle, but never quite enough to synthesize into authoritative, data-driven, practical guidance. I observed that academic disciplines use different vocabularies to describe the same phenomena, used field-specific research methods, and generally operated within their own well-defined intellectual boundaries. Important research got done, but reading it left me with strong sense that crucial knowledge was being overlooked in the gap between disciplines. Similar gaps existed between researchers and clinicians, between medical and social scientists, educators and government officials. As research subcultures developed around particular types of digital media and their interactions, different stages of child development, and different funding sources, the research community became even more balkanized. People who might have produced breakthroughs together were instead isolated inside separate intellectual silos. I also noticed that, with disturbing frequency, the bright line between scholarship and advocacy was becoming blurry. Together, these raised issues of ideology and credibility that frustrated me as a philanthropist and child advocate. Now is the time to explore all the in-between spaces. As media technologies evolve, so does our relationship to them. And so too must our approach to understanding that relationship. That is why I welcome you to this colloquium with a call to action. Employ the power of collaborative inquiry to understand the influence of digital media on the whole child and on the society to which that child is an heir. Make use of your respective fields' particular strengths, but share them. Help others to understand how your facet of the big picture relates to theirs and how your tools and methods might shed new light on their investigations. Invite them to do the same. This conference is designed to unleash your curiosity and to capitalize on your willingness to learn from and teach others. I stress this because we seem to live in an age of polarization. Too often, exchanges of views emphasize and amplify differences rather than resolve them. We all have preconceptions and assumptions that reflect our training, experience, and institutional affiliations. Set them aside for now. Treat your time together as intellectual free trade zones, a place where it's safe to offer and accept insights from unfamiliar sources. Imagination will be as important here as curiosity. A number of upcoming sessions will challenge your capabilities as futurists. How else can we hope to prepare today's digital natives and tomorrow's for careers, relationships, and social lives about which we can only speculate? Dare to make the necessary leaps, but don't stop there. This conference has attracted some of the best, most talented, and most experienced researchers working on digital media and child development. The breadth of your credentials and accomplishments defies summary. I can confidently, though, state that this audience consists of recognized leaders in neuroscience, cognitive science, pediatric medicine, informatics, child psychology, child psychiatry, sociology, education, social work, public policy, and forgive me if I have left anybody out. The presence of so many people of such stature creates a remarkable opportunity. Seize upon this chance to see your own life's work through the eyes of someone who looks at the same things you do, but in an entirely different way. Let that experience inspire you to set ambitious new goals, devise novel research strategies, and do things together that you could not do alone. The man next to you, the woman you might meet at dinner tonight, your fellow panelists, these may be the people with whom you unravel the mysteries of child development in the digital age. There are some specific goals, though, that I'd like you to keep in mind. I hope that you will, first, assess the current state of scientific knowledge regarding how digital media influences child development at multiple stages and multiple ages. Second, leverage the relationships formed here to initiate and sustain dialogue among medical researchers, practitioners, social scientists, educators, policymakers, and funders. Third, establish a prioritized national research agenda. And finally, devise practical, actionable recommendations that parents and teachers can use to make digital media a more consistently constructive influence on children's lives. Even as we begin, the last two, establishing the prioritized research agenda and elucidating actionable items, puts you, the researchers and scientists, in charge. Even as we begin, the organization, synthesis, and dissemination of your new ideas is already underway. Collaborative white papers produced by Children and Screens work groups are being prepared for publication in the journal Pediatrics. I look forward to sharing further details once the peer review process is complete. In addition, I'm pleased to announce that the Children's Screens is assembling a coalition of organizations to field test your collective recommendations. Initial partners include several public broadcasters, child-oriented nonprofits, and the New York Hall of Science. Frontline child care providers will soon join this effort. There is more to be said about the future, but for now, let me close with a few words of well-deserved thanks. Susan Marty of the National Academy of Sciences is simply amazing. I also want to thank the Academy's Committee for Scientific Programs and Dr. David Donahoe, who couldn't be here today. They have been indispensable contributors to the planning of this conference. David was among the earliest supporters of this effort. Vicki Rideout helped nurture the seed of an idea that eventually grew into all of this. Thank you, Vicki. For the last several years, it's been my honor to work on the conception and execution of this event with Dr. David Meyer and Dr. Jane Brown. They have also been simply wonderful. I am pleased to share my hosting duties with them here today. Thanks also to Melina Unkefer for her leadership in this conference, and to my board of advisors, work group leaders, and breakout session leaders. I know it's not the Academy Awards, all right. Thanks also to Julie Grimaldi, June Ramadan, and Veli Pinney of the Children's Screens, and thanks to my family. But most especially, thanks to each of you for making your way here and for embarking on the journey we're about to take together. Let's get to work.